This is the 22-inch Weber grill. This is their bare bones model. And today I just wanted to see if I follow the America's Test Kitchen method, could I create a beautifully smoked brisket with this? So let's see if it's actually capable of doing that.
So if you're like me, you've watched America's Test Kitchen's Best Brisket, and what was particularly appealing about that one is that they use this relatively cheap Weber grill, and they have a very specific technique that's supposed to produce a consistent low burning 275 degree temperature. It's called the charcoal snake. It's 58 briquettes on the bottom, 58 briquettes on top of that one, and then 10 briquettes to start the thing. The big thing is to make sure they're all touching and that there's about an 8-inch gap in there so that they burn it only in one direction. And the real question is, can someone like me who's never made a brisket before actually do this method and do it right on the first time?
One better than we hoped for. So we could take a look at it finally.
Oh. Goodness.
I don't know if I was going to get the same enthusiasm from my parents, but I was sure going to try. So now that I had the briquette pieces in place, I had to put about 5 pieces of hickory on top of those and a water pan in the middle. I will say for the hickory pieces, if you put too big of a piece, the grill won't even sit on it, so just be careful about that. Then you want to light up about 10 briquettes and place them on one side of the snake, not on both sides, just one side, so that it continues to burn around in a nice slow circle. One of the biggest gotchas about this recipe was the amount of time it takes to cook the brisket in total.
For a whole 6 hours, 4 to 5 hours, 6 hours, 5 hours, a couple of hours. I'll take another couple of hours for another couple of hours over the next 3 hours.
Basically, it's supposed to take 11 hours. So I figured if I started really early at 6 a.m., we'd be ready to eat by 5 p.m. However, the timing did not actually work out how I thought it was going to. In their video, they said it takes about 5 to 6 hours to get to 170 degrees. Well, for me, it took an extra 4 hours. Now, granted, they had a 12-pound piece of brisket and I had a 17-pound piece, so that kind of makes sense. But also, there's some things I wish I'd done to keep myself sane during this cooking process that you might want to do too. One, put a cooking probe in the grill so that you can keep track of the temperature of the grill, just so when it approaches the stall, you know whether or not it's your grill or if it's just the meat. When my meat got to about 140 degrees, it started really slowing down. And I think what happened was actually the ash had gotten in the way of the bottom vent. And so what I would say is make sure that you actuate that bottom vent a couple times to make sure the ash isn't blocking the air from coming up and fueling the fire. Because the fire was getting a little snuffed out, we actually ended up doing this a little differently than America's Test Kitchen. We ended up wrapping the meat at 140, which apparently is a big no-no. But we did it anyways because we needed to speed up the cooking. I was worried that I was going to really screw it up with this, but you'll see the result in the end. One thing that was surprisingly stressful was the stall. Sitting there looking at your meat not rising in temperature makes you really question whether it's working or not. Is this going to be a success, or am I going to make my entire family go hungry? So aside from a few kinks, here's how we shook out compared to America's Test Kitchen. Instead of 6 hours to get to 170, it took about 10 hours. Again, we had about 5 more pounds of meat. And we wrapped it at 140 instead of 170. And for the final step of keeping it in the cooler, we only kept it in there for 2 hours because we were hungry and wanted to eat. So after all those variations, was our brisket still good?
That's good.
Ooh.
Look at that bark.
That doesn't look too bad.
The answer is yes. It was still absolutely amazing and will blow the socks off of all your friends and family. Yeah, it may have been just a tiny bit drier because we did it a little differently, but you can do this. As a first-time brisket maker, you can actually make it like this on the Weber for cheap, and it tastes amazing. I can't tell you how wonderful it is to pull a hot brisket out and start cutting into it and the slices falling apart, and being able to share that with your family is absolutely amazing, and I can see why this is addicting. And using the Weber grill honestly was just fine. I put it together the night before and it wasn't hard and it actually works. So if you like what I'm doing and you want to grill this Memorial Day, consider using my affiliate links below. That's actually what supports this channel and allows me to do this. So thanks so much for watching. I appreciate you being here most of all, and if you want to leave a comment, I love reading them. So see you later. Enjoy your grilling. Bye.